bigger and faster, and watching him run last week, he has absolutely done that. But it's the passing that's been so impressive. Look at the efficiency. 5 of 6, 77 yards.
No question about that. So they're settled there right now for Army. For UConn, this is going to be their 3rd quarterback to start a game this season. True freshman Tyler Pumachan.
Well, we think he's going to start. The UConn coaches wouldn't really reveal that this week. I think they're going for the element of surprise against Army today. Pumachan, only a true freshman, not a big guy, but very athletic. They are hoping he can provide a spark.
And they need some kind of spark. The offense last week shut out against Purdue. Lou Spanos, the interim head coach, he was elevated to that position after Randy Edsall's retirement after the Holy Cross loss 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Jeff Monken wasn't really thrilled with the win last week. He was happy with the offense, but when we talked to him this week, the fact that they had to hold on after getting a 21-point lead against Western Kentucky, not really high on his to-do list again today. It is a gorgeous day here in West Point. Temperatures will reach in the 80s. Feels warmer than that down on the field. Ross, we got a good one coming our hands, bud.
It is absolutely always beautiful here. Amazing. Look at the shots. And you see that press box in the upper right? That's where Jason and I are. We have the best view in college football, I guarantee it.
Although Tina Servasio might argue that hers down on the field is pretty good, and we'll check in with Tina in a second. UConn won the toss, elected to receive, and they've got freshmen back there. Brian Bruton, Devontae Houston set to receive the kickoff here for Army. Trying to start 3-0 for the first time in 5 years, and we are underway. Coming out from the 5 and bouncing off a tackler and going sideways. And Brian Bruton will be down before the 20. Down to Tina.
Well, Jason, the UConn players have had to endure a lot since their season opened 3 weeks ago. Offensive coordinator Frank Joffrey told me yesterday there is some concern, though, about the players' focus, although they've done a pretty good job kind of going with the flow as a lot of things have been thrown at them. And it all started when they played at Fresno and it was 123 degrees on the field. It spiraled from there. Joffrey says it's been a perfect storm for UConn, and we didn't do a good job weathering the storm, but interim head coach Lou Spanos says this team is closer than ever, and the players trust each other on the field.
Well, now it is Pumachan, so we do have the confirmation. The first throw is low, but it was caught. Kevin's Clercius on the pickup of about 14 on first down. And again, if the name Pumachan sounds familiar, his brother Tyson was a big-time recruit in the class of 2019. He is on Clemson's staff behind DJ Uyunglele.
Right, and Tyler is only 5'10", 187, but he really gets rid of the ball quickly. He's got smooth feet.
He does have this ability, the ability to run the football, which will set up a 3rd and 3. The offense behind an offensive line, good on the left side. Christopher Fortin at center, making his 2nd straight start.
Everybody we talk to absolutely loves Christopher Fortin. He told him in spring ball, listen, I've never played center before, but I want to play. He took to it very quickly.
Freshman from Quebec, a 3rd down here for UConn on the opening drive. 5 wides and an empty backfield for Pumachan. The blitz comes, he gets it out quickly. Keelan Marion, but he is gobbled up by the Army defense. Nolan Cockrell out there along the lines with Spencer Jones, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
Well, you see right away what they want to do with Pumachan. The first play was getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Second one was a designed quarterback run. That time, a wide receiver tunnel screen. It felt like the timing was a little bit off. If they'd been able to get that to Marion earlier, I think he might have been able to bounce off one block to get the first down.
Well, new concepts for the offense, too, this week as they brought in Noel Mazzoni, which we'll get to throughout the broadcast. The punt for Joe McFadden. Robinson waits for it at the 37, and he is wrapped up. Wow. That is the long snapper, Brian Keating, getting downfield, one of the captains of this UConn team.
That is one of the best long snapper tackles I've ever seen. This is for the long snapping brand right there. Keating just ran right through Tyrell Robinson, the best athlete for Army. And by the way, that's exactly how you do it. You don't break down if you're the first guy, you go right through him.
So Army, after a quick defensive stop, will come on out with Christian Anderson, who, as you highlighted last week, 2nd career 100-yard rushing day, but it's the passing that's starting to get this offense another element.
Well, and the interesting thing talking with Christian yesterday is, remember, you know, Tyre Tyler started the opener. So Anderson is really trying to earn playing time. He's trying to keep the job as much as anything else. but he told us he didn't really want to think of it that way. He didn't want to put any extra pressure on himself.
Christian Anderson from the Bronx. And, you know, you asked that question again with Tyler, the conversation with the quarterbacks. What will happen when Tyler is healthy? Because it certainly was not a season-ending injury in week number 1. And they'll get there. But talking to everybody on this Army staff, it's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. I mean, listen, every player that attempted a pass last year for Army is back. 7 of their 8 leading rushers. But even though Anderson said that's not on his mind, I got to tell you, as a former player, how can it not be? I mean, it's his senior year. He wants to start. He wants to play. He's well aware of the fact that if he continues to play well, they're not going to take him out of there. So that's got to be on his mind some way, shape, or form, even if he declines to admit that to us.
Today against the UConn defense that in the 2 FBS games has lost to Fresno State and to Purdue 94-0. The handoff to Barnard up the middle, and he got the most snaps last week at the B-back. The offensive line this week is missing Connor Bishop, so Zach Ward, Ross, gets his first career start at left guard.
I am thrilled for that young man. He's a senior, had elbow surgery when he was at the prep school. He's had a back surgery since he's been at the academy. You know, to me, that's what college football is about. A guy just persevering, working, and he's being rewarded with his first start today. They think he'll play well.
None of the Army offensive linemen have made more than 5 career starts today, so that'll be a challenge. This time it is the pitch coming near side, and there is all kinds of room. It is Brandon Walters down the sideline, and he's escorted out of bounds inside the 5. He takes that 58 yards before Trey Wortham tracked him down.
Watch the left side of your screen here. There's nobody there. I mean, it'll be Brandon Walters who eventually comes around on the pitch. I don't know what happened. I mean, Tyrell Robinson didn't even have anybody to block out there.
We got a whistle quickly here.
I got to tell you, Jason, this is poor. You know Army runs the triple option. There was nobody out there for the pitch man. Tyrell Robinson, the other slot back, didn't even have anybody to block.
And usually it's Brandon Walters who is your leader as the blocker. So in the red zone, after just 2 plays, Barnard tries the middle. A couple of yards inside the 2. It's a UConn defense that's trying to find a rhythm. Their secondary is banged up. They do have a good young linebacker, though, in Jackson Mitchell, a sophomore here for UConn.
Well, they've been at their best in the first quarter. They've only given up 21 points total in 3 games in the first quarter. Jackson Mitchell leads all of FBS football with 29 tackles. He's got 11 in back-to-back games. He's going to have to make a lot today.
Barnard remains on the field as the fullback. Anderson, he is open into the end zone. He just shimmied to the right. The hole was right there, and an early 6-0 lead for Army.
Well, and that's the second play out of 4 here for Army. That's just too easy. Nice block by Lingenfelter, a terrific job by Brandon Walters, as always. And Anderson very easily able to glide in for the touchdown.
So Cole Talley on for the extra point. Had a key field goal to ice the game last week against Western Kentucky. He is good, and the Black Knights a 7-0 lead. We talked about Anderson on the ground last week. This time he's putting him in the end zone and giving him the lead.
The best things America makes.
Welcoming home veterans to their exchange shopping benefits. By USAA Insurance, auto renters and home insurance. By Cooper Tire, go with the Coopers. And by ServPro, proud supporters of our nation's first responders.
Well, today is the 7th meeting since 2000. The only Army win in that time was at Yankee Stadium, where a 99-yard pick six sealed the deal, 35-21. Here the opening drive for Army goes less than 2 minutes. 64 yards. Brandon Walters, key play was the 58-yarder to set up Army inside the 5, Ross. And offensively, the blocking on the edge and the inside was huge on that first drive.
Right, well, I'm going to highlight the blocking on the edge on the touchdown in particular, but very concerning for UConn early that 2 of the bread and butter Army plays, UConn did not have a very good answer for.
Bruton again waiting deep to receive. And again, it comes up short of the 5, and he takes a head of steam, but just can't get beyond the 20-yard line. Boyne down there to make the stop.
So why was that so easy, the Army touchdown? The blocks on the edge. Watch the tight end, Josh Lingenfelter, go down, and Brandon Walters, he's going to go right off Lingenfelter's butt. Watch Lingenfelter down block, and then Walters gets the linebacker, boom, Anderson's in. It's one of the things I absolutely love about Army football. Their tight ends, their slot backs, they actually block. You know, you watch a lot of other levels of play, other offenses, those guys hardly ever block. Not here at Army. Everybody blocks at Army.
Get Pumachan out on the edge, and he does have space to take off. And he's upended by a pair of Army defenders led by Malcolm Morrison. As we take a look at the Army defense, and again, against Georgia State, they didn't give up 200 yards. Last week, more than 430 passing. They do have the nation's leader in sacks, though, in Andre Carter.
Yeah, how often can you say that? Army has the leader in sacks in the country. 4.5. He's just about 6'7", 260 pounds. He's only a junior. As Jeff Monken said, he's got a real chance to play football after college if he keeps developing.
Now they got a stoppage of play here because there is an Army player who was down. Now that is in the end zone. Did not quite see what happened. Remember, the ball was snapped from the 20.
I have no idea how that happened. In the end zone on a play that was snapped at the 20.
Well, Jeff Monken is now going over there as well. They're looking at the left leg.
Yeah, they're talking with messing with it and adjusting his left knee there, you can see. I don't even know if we have a camera angle because he was so far away from the play.
The senior from Georgia, Corbina Bonsu, is who the Army medical staff and coaches are attending to. Already today without Ryan Duran, who's been battling injuries on the defensive line.
Bonsu, extremely talented. He's been starting since his sophomore year. Really one of the best players on their defense, one of the best pass rushers they have. All right, he's all the way down here, because remember it was a bootleg. So he's all the way in the bottom left. Oh, he just starts to bother him there. Yeah, there was nothing nefarious or anything. It was really non-contact as he started to throttle down at the end of that play.
Right, and so you wonder how he wound up in the end zone because you're looking the other direction, and it was around the 10 where he started to hobble.
My eyes were on Pumachan. There you see the freshmen that don't dress out for the game, cheering him on. I was talking with a lot of them at the delicious Lichtenberg tailgate before the game. Let's hope Corbina is okay. You don't ever like to see any injury, but especially as a senior. Remember, they lost Sean Eckert last week, the wide receiver who's a senior, and he's now out for the season.
Season-ending knee injury. I mentioned Duran. We weren't sure about him going, but he is out on the field, right off the edge, and he's the one who gets around and trying to get Pumachan. Got the edge, takes up field, and gets across the 30, and that is a first down for Tyler Pumachan. Eric Smith tracked him down.
Well, watch Duran. He's the one that ends up getting the pressure, but Pumachan is a heck of an athlete. You know, he's going to make Army really earn it today because, look, get it blocked for me. I'll get up there. I'll get the first down. This is the element that Pumachan brings. Mobile, athletic quarterbacks, always difficult to defend.
Picked up 6. He's out on the edge again. That is a tough pass, and he left it about 6 yards short of Clarcius.
Well, he short hopped that, but I like that design right there by the UConn offensive coaching staff because Pumachan had the edge. He could have run that one for at least 5 yards as well if he wanted to.
Well, you mentioned design. Big story this week for UConn and the coaching staff. Bringing in Noel Mazzoni as an analyst to try and help them tweak things, look at the personnel, try and figure out how this offense can get going after being shut out against Fresno State in the opener, and then again last week against Purdue with the Holy Cross loss in between. And handoff up the middle. That is the freshman Nate Carter breaking a tackle, and he lost the football. It came out on the hit, but it is recovered by UConn. Getting downfield, Christian Haynes to get on top of it for the Huskies out at the 45-yard line.
So you want to know why there's an impact? Watch Ryan Duran right here. This is what a running quarterback does. He has to wait. He has to wait because Pumachan might pull it. Duran having to wait. Wow, what a hit, by the way. But Duran having to wait to make sure Pumachan doesn't have it, that opened the hole. Running quarterbacks open up angles and holes in the running game.
He's trying to get it out quick. You can see that immediately. That's the tight end, Jay Rose, the converted quarterback who makes his 3rd catch of the season. Spencer Jones, who played every snap of this Army defense last week after battling through injuries during camp. Stopped him after 4. But again, it's quick stuff, Ross. They're trying to make sure that Pumachan can get out on the edge because, as you mentioned in the open, he's only 5'10". He is not big.
Well, especially because Army likes to bring pressure a lot as well.
Brings 4. They get it out on the edge. That's the running back, Carter. And Marquell Broughton tracked him down. He had an unbelievable game last week defensively and on special teams, making a tackle.
Just watch him. He's so good at keying and diagnosing. He said he likes to play like Buda Baker, Tyrann Mathieu. He's so good at reading splits, situations, and like a lot of these Army DBs, he brings it.
And the interception in the first quarter. This is a 3rd and 4 here for UConn.
Army is showing pressure right now. Let's see if they bring it or bail out of it. They bail.
Only bring 4. Yep, Pumachan looking down. That's a great ball, and it's dropped. The freshman, Aaron Turner, got behind the defense, and a great throw, and he couldn't handle it.
I think they should go for it. I really do. Watch Pumachan. I am impressed by this true freshman. He's going to throw the slant to the left. He's actually pretty well covered, but he put it right on him. Turner has got to catch that ball. This has been UConn's problem. They just don't make the plays they have to when they need to. Now I bet you Army comes with pressure. Look at the posture of the linebackers. I think it's a cross dog. Here they come.
And Pumachan was going to take off, and he went right into the teeth of the defense. He was going to take off up the middle and had absolutely nowhere to go. The captain, Nolan Cockrell, bear hugged him at the line.
Well, that's tough duty to run a quarterback draw into a linebacker cross dog blitz. Army came with a blitz. They thought maybe Pumachan could squirt through there, but Nolan Cockrell, the big nose tackle, was all over it.
They get you ready for week 2 of the NFL action with previews, predictions. It's that other pregame show tomorrow morning at 8 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network. Let's go down to Tina Cervasio with an injury update.
All right, so Kwabena Bonsu is up. He is testing out whatever was bothering him. I saw the training staff working on his left leg. He went over to the bike for a little while. Right now, they're just testing him out. It's hard to read if he'll be coming back in the game. I'll keep you guys updated. But he is up and moving around and referring to his left leg.
All right, Tina, thank you very much. So seeing him there on the bike, working it out, not surrounded by as many trainers is good. Certainly didn't look good when he was down in the end zone 20 yards away from the play on the last defensive series. 4-play opening touchdown drive. This the handoff to Jacoby Buchanan, who last week had a career-high 18 carries for 61 yards and a couple of scores.
Nice job there by UConn's defensive line. I actually think that's the strength of their defense. Up front, you see Brent Davis, the Army offensive coordinator. They were impressed with UConn's D-line. Travis Jones, Dalmont Gordine, Luau Ugwok. They've got some big guys up front that move well. This should be a good game for UConn's front, the way they're constituted.
Travis Jones, number 57, right in the middle of the defense, listed at 333 pounds. Certainly a challenge for those new starters in the middle. Anderson on the pitch. This one is to Howard. It's blocked on the edge, and he slipped up. Trying to fight through there on the edge, Malik Dixon. And it'll bring up 3rd down for Army.
Pretty good job by Dixon. You'll see the right side of your screen. You're also going to see Jackson Mitchell chase this down. But Dixon, he really should come outside in with that and force it back inside to Mitchell. But a much better job by UConn's defense against the pitch there. Brings up 3rd and 6, not where Army likes to live. They want to be 3rd and 5 or less. and get it to 4th and 2 or less. Be curious to see if they throw the ball here.
They did 6 times last week. It is a run for Anderson. It's blocked nicely. He's upended. That was Dixon coming up from the safety spot. It is short. Ross 4th and 1 at the 40, inside of 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, you're new here, Jason. They're going.
Well, I know. I wanted to let you say.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I got my feet wet. You're supposed to be the predictor.
I know. 4th and 1, though. I've never seen them. Let's put it this way. I've been doing these Army games for 4 years. I've never seen them not go on 4th and 1. I mean, anywhere on the field, 4th and 1, they're going to go. And usually it's Jacoby Buchanan time, the fullback. They say, the coaching staff, that he's 100% on conversion runs like this.
141 career carries. He's never lost a yard. He's over the top, and it's going to be close.
It is very close. Did I just do the announcer jinx on the 100% thing?
Well, only depending on the spot. Now, the sticks are on the right side of the 39.
I think he got it by a little bit, but it's close. Terrific job by UConn's defense. I mean, it's going to be an inch or two either way. This would be gigantic for UConn, just their confidence.
Well, especially after the offense moved 34 yards. And they measure it, they stretch it.
Got it. Unbelievable.
A chain length or 2. Let me ask you something. You played offensive line.
Watch this. Watch the spot. He kind of got spun around. I think it's a good spot. It's all about where the ball is as he got spun around. You know what's amazing, though? You know, it comes down to an inch or two so often. It's really just the side judges that are 32 yards away as they run in, where they spot it. 1 inch that way, 1 inch that way could change everything.
This time it is Anderson back to pass. And just like last week, it's a wide open receiver. Isaiah Alston, his first career touchdown, goes for 39 yards.
Well, that's how they get you, Jay. Do the push-ups, cadets, but that's how they get you. Left side of your screen, he's in the slot. They fake the run that way. Safety steps up. He runs right by him. You know, they just run, and the safeties have so many run responsibilities that play action pass, by the time they figure it out, it's a lot of times too late.
So, Ross, you're used to seeing long, extended Army drives. That has not been the case today. It has been the long, explosive Army plays for a 14-0 lead.
Veterans, you're eligible to shop your military exchange.
Christian Anderson and this Army offense, Ross, really from week 1 against Georgia State, this is a new element. They are stretching the field early in the ball games.
More than they've done in years. Christian Anderson, he did it in high school. We'll show that later. He is really good throwing the football. Raheem Murphy last week, wide open again today. You know, they faked that run, and I almost feel bad for these safeties, because you almost can't be right, Jay. I mean, if you're worried about the pass, you're going to be late on the run. That's why it's so deadly when option offenses throw the ball. I don't know, by the way, I'm not going to get on a soapbox here. I'm just telling you, there are some college football programs that should be running the option.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kansas should run the option. If you're in a conference where you've traditionally struggled, boy, that can be a real difference maker.
Well, and clearly programs are thinking about it, right? Jeff Monken was in the conversation in the offseason at that Kansas job that you just mentioned. They hired Buffalo coach Lance Leipold. They got a big one today against Baylor. The line drive kick from Talley, and this time it is into the end zone, so they will start on the 25 as we take our time now for a view of the core, brought to you by M-Core. You think the uniform is under the Rocky and Bullwinkle costume? I like the smiley face and the gator up there.
I always wonder, obviously they have to wear the uniform. Is it like, are you rewarded if you get to wear like the alligator head or something? Or is that something you don't want to do?
This is going to be something we're going to have to discuss in our meetings for next week's
Yeah,
game
I need
against
more
Miami of Ohio.
information on who's allowed to wear the mascot things and who's not.
Also, are we sure the uniform is under the smiley face? This is a handoff coming around to Bruton, the freshman, out to the 26, so a pickup of 1. And again, this is a tough spot here, right? True freshman quarterback. You got 6 other freshmen, whether they were class of 2020 or 21. Remember, UConn did not play football last year because of COVID-19, but you have 6 other freshmen on the field right now for this offense against a very veteran and very good Army defense. Pressure, Nate Smith, got him around the waist. Nate Smith off the edge, playing more of a hybrid position. They're excited about what he's going to bring the rest of the year.
So this is one that Pumachan will learn from. Watch Nate Smith come in here off the edge. They don't block him. They're trying to hope that it's an RPO. He's got to throw the ball. If you're Pumachan right there, you're not blocking the backside defensive end. Maybe he doesn't know that, but an RPO, you have to throw the ball. If you don't hand it off, you got to throw that slant. Otherwise, that's exactly what will happen.
Now they do throw a quick play. Jay Rose trying to get out there. Clarcius got rocked. Malcolm Morrison from his Apache spot came in as a heater.
Watch Malcolm Morrison. He's been doing this since his freshman year. It's such a fun position. They call it Apache. It's basically the outside linebacker to the wide side of the field. Really a nickelback in college football. You got to be able to blitz, you got to be able to tackle, you got to be able to cover, and you got to be able to run, like Malcolm Morrison showed he can do right there.
First punt for Joe McFadden went 38 yards. The long snapper, Brian Keating, made a great play. This is line drive that Robinson was going to field at the 45. Cuts it upfield, still in space. Tyrell Robinson has Army starting on the plus side of the field, up 14-0 with 3:39 to go here in the first quarter. 38-yard punt one more time. So now the crest year for Army here with the lead and Christian Anderson. Where do they go next? The defense has been stifling and they're pitching a shutout. 14-0. Christian Anderson has a touchdown pass today. Ross promised this. This was a guy who was a passing quarterback in high school. 3,653 yards in his senior year at Cardinal Hayes High School, which is second all-time in New York State. And Ross, what stood out to us most when we talked to him about it yesterday and asked him, well, why'd you go play triple option football? I said, you know, it's funny. Our rival, Mount St. Michael, they ran triple option football. And in high school, I was like, that's whack.
It's just bizarre that a guy that threw for 3,600 yards in 1 year would go to Army where they throw maybe 5 times a game.
He is having a whale start to his senior year. The handoff to Robinson, and he's eaten up by Jackson Mitchell. Down to Tina.
And Jason, Christian Anderson often checks in with his high school coaches, head coach C.J. O'Neill and offensive coordinator Kyle Lamont from Cardinal Hayes. Anderson told me yesterday he relies on them like a support system. These coaches made sure that Anderson had weights and a bar in his garage while he was quarantined last year. He said he plays for them. He wants to make them proud of what they started, and he also wants to make New York City proud of the Army quarterback that they raised.
He's certainly doing that so far here in the 2021 season. Handoff again, it's a wide open hole. This time it's Atkins taking it inside the 30 for a first down. And Ross, you know, the other part to the Christian Anderson thing is, well, to your point about the quarterback, why go to an option school? Again, this is kind of right up his alley.
Yeah, there's another injury there. It's an unbalanced line. And again, 67, Dean Powell really looking for someone to block. The guys on the front side are doing a heck of a job.
That is a UConn player who was down. That is linebacker Ian Swenson. They're already missing today Omar Fort. Other linebackers as well.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 51 seconds.
But to that point about
on the game clock.
Christian Anderson, Ross, about why coming to Army, right? Passing quarterback, all those yards in high school, the offense. And he said, I went to the Army-Navy game. It was in Baltimore. The year that Army broke the 14-year losing streak.
That was my first Army-Navy game, by the way.
He said, I got to be part of that.
Oh, man, that was incredible. All the cadets came running on the field. I felt like I knew what it was like to be attacked by the infantry. I was trying not to get run over by all the cadets running on the field at M&T Bank Stadium there.
How about that, by the way, with Lou Spanos? Just in that picture there. Did you see who was yelling?
The long snapper.
The long snapper. Now, again, Brian Keating.
I think Brian Keating's shoulder pads are off. Did he get hurt on his first tackle?
Did not notice that.
One of the best. I didn't see the. Maybe he's got small shoulder pads.
Well, he's only 220 pounds. It is a first down for Army as we dip inside of 2:40 to go here in an opening quarter. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Every drive is started in UConn territory. The pitch again, Robinson out in space, has a block by Walters, and he's inside the red zone for another Army first down.
You know, the linebacker Jackson Mitchell for UConn, he's taking really bad angles. Watch his angle here. He needs to go flatter. He's attacking it downhill, but then when there's a pitch, he's going to be behind Robinson. It feels like Mitchell's responsible for the pitch, and if he is, he needs to be getting flatter down the line. He's taking too poor of an angle to be able to make a play on it.
That was a great play up the middle. Great defensive stick. Gordine getting in there on a pickup of maybe a yard. Your point about the angles, how much of that is a product of not practicing triple option all the time?
I don't think that's a very good excuse because they practiced it all week this week and they didn't play last year. So Lou Spanos told us they kind of been working on Army since the spring of 20. You know, not this past spring, but the spring before when they knew they weren't going to play because of COVID. So not a very good excuse if that's the excuse.
Cato is the B-back. The pitch comes around. Raheem Murphy. He's got blockers in front, lowers the shoulder, and he's inside the 10. Dixon made the stop. It is another Army first down as we approach a minute to go in the opening quarter.
Yeah, and I know UConn has really struggled this year, but this is still an impressive. Watch Finucane, 60, finish his block. This is really an impressive start for the Black Knights because even against Purdue and Fresno State, UConn only gave up 1 touchdown, and they're on the brink of giving up a 3rd here in the first quarter.
You know, 1 touchdown in each of those first quarters. It was the second quarter where things fell apart for the Huskies. And handoff to Atkins. He's chased down from behind. Tackle made for UConn by Famina Brown. If Army wants, they can take this to the second quarter.
And it looks like they're gonna. I'm starting to see a lot of guys on the sideline for Army head down to the other side of the field. So they are gonna take it to the quarter. They like time of possession. They like winning that stat. They feel like it's very important.
Which to this point of the season, they're the 2nd best in the country, behind only Wisconsin. But the Badgers have a loss this year. Army does not, and the Black Knights with the pageantry and the core in attendance with a great first quarter performance. Recruited here under Jeff Monken, and John Radigan just signed to the active roster for the Seahawks.
Last week, right before the first game, Radigan got bumped up to the active roster. Radigan only started 1 year here at West Point at linebacker. Really was behind Cole Christensen his first few years. So this matters, by the way. Jeff Monken told us, listen, he wants every guy that comes here to want to play in the NFL. That's the kind of guys they're trying to recruit. People that want to serve their country and also have aspirations to play football at the highest level.
And they believe that they have a couple more on the defensive side, and maybe the offensive side as well, that are going to get that chance. The offense today, over 10 yards a play. Right, so last week was the 6, 7, 8-minute drives. This week so far, through 15 minutes, started a good field position, and it's been quick strikes against UConn.
Feels like it might be time to fire the old Buchanans here with Jacoby in the game.
We're going to keep going with that.
Late shift to unbalanced line. That's where they're going.
It's not. Instead, it's Anderson trying for his 2nd rushing touchdown. Does not get there. Sniffed out by UConn nicely. Kavon Jones was on the edge.
Really like some of these D linemen for UConn. Kavon Jones, 48, gets off the block of Finucane, throws him away, makes the tackle. Excellent job. Ugwak, Jones. So far, I'm by far the most impressed with UConn's defense, their D linemen. They got some dudes on the D line that have made some plays.
Third and goal, this you assume for Army is 2-down territory.
Of course. Quarterback sneak maybe with how tight he is.
That's exactly what he does. He's pushed from behind, and Anderson is into the end zone for the second time this afternoon. I always think the blockers should get the half a touchdown when they're pushing that hard.
Watch how close Buchanan was. As soon as I saw how close Buchanan was to Christian Anderson, I mean, his helmet was almost touching his rear, and then he kind of burrowed in there with the rest. Look at that. That looks like a surge of the long gray line right there. That is awesome. That was about a 1.5 yard quarterback sneak.
Cross a play that 5 years ago would not have been legal. They changed that rule, and everyone using it to their ability, and Army takes advantage. Christian Anderson, and a 3-touchdown early second quarter lead. Brought to you by The Exchange. We take a look at Lehman Hall. Lehman, the Army quarterback, from 74 to 77, the school record, 38 career passing touchdowns. And he was inducted into the Army Athletics Hall of Fame last night. And Ross Tucker, a large man to my right, was very impressed with Lehman's size as well.
I met him outside at Zulu at the Thayer Hotel, and he's just about 6'7". I said, what sport did you play? He said, football. I said, what position? He said, quarterback. I said, Army has a 6'7" quarterback that threw the ball in the 70s? I had no idea.
They went 7-4 his senior year. Christian Anderson, today's quarterback, 2 short rushing touchdowns, 1 39-yard passing touchdown. So 3 passing touchdowns this year for Christian Anderson on this particular season. Across the team now with 4 passing touchdowns on the year, which is the same amount they had for 12 games last year.
Well, it's funny when we asked Brent Davis, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, if they would throw the ball more. He said, well, it all depends on how the defense plays us. You know, they play based on what the defense is doing, not based on their personnel or wanting to throw the ball more, anything like that. The defense dictates it.
All right, let's go back downstairs to Tina.
UConn long snapper Brian Keating is out. He is on the sidelines here with his shoulder pads off, and he's got his left wrist wrapped quite thick, but he has been jumping around, guys. He's trying to motivate these Huskies. Meanwhile, linebacker Ian Swenson, he got both of his ankles re-taped. He's putting his sneakers back on now. I will check on his official status and keep you guys updated.
All right, Tina, so Ross's point was right with Keating, who made such a great tackle on the first punt of the day for UConn. He's out there screaming, and he did have his pads off. That's a good ball, a little bit behind, but Keelan Marion went down behind him, picked up 15 yards on the throw for Pumachan.
Well, I've been impressed with Pumachan so far. Watch Marion, a little bit behind him, goes down to his hip. That's a terrific catch by Keelan Marion. He's the guy that had 2 touchdowns against Holy Cross. I think he's the best skill guy I've seen for UConn. This is my second time doing one of their games. I would keep trying to get the ball to number 1.
Pumachan tries to settle in, sneaks out the back. He's got a wide open receiver, lofts it, it's short, and it's almost intercepted. He had Clarcius all alone, but Isaiah Morris tracked it down and almost picked it off.
Boy, was that play a roller coaster. I thought Pumachan was going to start to run. Eventually, Clarcius, who I think is at the bottom of the screen, they faked the wide. Watch. Oh, that's a great design. Throw it. Oh, man. Yeah, he was just kind of off his back foot, fading away. If Pumachan had been able to step into that one, Clarcius would have caught it. Terrific catch-up speed by Morris.
Hit him on the edge again. They're trying to throw it back. They do set it up nicely for Morrisau. Gets a great block down the sideline. Haran Morrisau, a flag flies. They do get him out of bounds inside the 10, and we'll have to wait and see what the flag is. Jabari Moore tracked him down, but what a design by UConn.
Well, I love the design, but I think they're going to get an illegal blindside block. You are not allowed to go back towards the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense, number 67, 15-yard penalty.
So you're not allowed to use forcible contact on a blindside block. Watch Fortin right here. This will be forcible contact right there. You're not allowed to do it. And it's so frustrating if you're a UConn fan, because he didn't need to do that. I mean, that guy was not going to make the play. Austin Hill was way out of the way to make the play there for Army, and that's a gigantic play for UConn that has to come back. These mistakes, whether they're mental or physical, just cannot happen. I like the aggression, but you got to be smarter.
Ross, that indicates a 55-yard play for the team.
Brutal.
And they've had a couple missed opportunities, right? The wide open receiver downfield, the Carter drops when he got behind the defense. And now, Probishon with the athleticism, throws it and it's dropped.
Oh my goodness.
Cameron Hairston, and there is an Army player, that is Duran, back down behind the line. Pumachan's athleticism immediately has been on display, but they'll come out and check on Ryan Duran.
Well, the one thing you can say is I think the coaching staff did the right decision putting Pumachan out there. He has definitely provided a spark. We'll look for Duran, 91, falls down there, reaches up. Fell down pretty hard there on the left side of his body. And he looks like he went right for his left elbow forearm. He's right side of your screen. Ooh, he got smoked on the spin move. Good job by Christian Haynes. And Hairston drops the ball. You know, Jay, I don't think UConn is that bad. I think the issue is that it's almost like they take turns making mistakes. They have some talent. They have some good play design. But when Pumachan throws a nice ball to Turner, he drops it. When they get a good play down the sideline, Fortin has an illegal blindside block. They honestly take turns making critical errors, which is what leads to them being in the situation they find themselves in.
And to put all of that into context, right? UConn 0-3 on the season. One of the 8 losses by an FBS team this year to the FCS, which you were there with Ed and Tina. 38-28 to Holy Cross as Duran will walk off. But it's the other 2 games that were the other side, right? The 2 biggest shutout losses since UConn joined the FBS in 2000. 45-0 at Fresno State, and then 49-0 last week against Purdue, where the offense, they just haven't been able to get anything going. 107 yards against Fresno State, 220 last week for Lou Spanos, now coaching his 2nd game at the helm, taking over for Randy Edsall, who resigned, set to retire after the Holy Cross game, originally set at the end of the season, and then a day later became immediate when Lou Spanos took over. So this is 3rd and 23.
Look how far back the Army second level is. I mean, they're 18 yards off the ball.
And they're still getting pressure, Ross, with 3. Pumachan loads and fires downfield, one-on-one, and it's knocked away. Isaiah Morris, who was in today for the injured Julian McDuffie, was out in coverage.
Look at how much space there is in this area right there. I mean, look at that. That is crazy. They are a good 15 yards back. That looks like end of game situation, end of half. Just sitting there at the sticks, and then they've got the 3 deep. Pumachan did the right thing, though, giving his receiver a chance.
Give your guy a chance. So every Army drive so far has started in UConn territory. See what Tyrell Robinson can do with this one. Best punt of the day so far by McFadden, and Robinson's going to let it go. Takes a UConn bounce all the way inside the 20-yard line. Punt of 54, an Army long field to go with 12.5 in the second.
We're kicking off game day.
On CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. By Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. And by Today's Military.
Well, last Friday, West Point unveiled a statue of Staff Sergeant Sanders H. Matthews Sr., statue commemorating the Buffalo Soldiers, the segregated 9th and 10th Cavalry regiments that came to West Point in 1907 to teach cadets how to ride horses when they didn't know and when they weren't allowed to be part at West Point. We talked to Jeff Monken about it last week here on our meetings on Friday. He said the whole team went down. It was a big ceremony that everybody was excited to be there. What was and is Buffalo Soldier Field now has that monument as well.
Yeah, I went and checked out that statue yesterday. Sometimes I run on Buffalo Soldier Field.
Anderson kept it himself and almost snuck through. Jeremy Lucien the ankle tackle after 12, which just prevented an 82-yard touchdown run.
Heck of a lead block there by Jacoby Buchanan. As you see the success Army has had, virtually flawless so far, really on both sides of the ball, but especially offensively.
Well, and especially after last week too, Ross, the offense after the first quarter, 5 straight drives where they put together touchdown drives. That did have the one play there right before halftime. So the offense last week, but they weren't thrilled about their inability on a 4th and 2. They weren't thrilled about the fumble, but they're gonna love this one. Tyrell Robinson to the house. He takes it 70 yards for another Army touchdown.
Wait until you see this block by Sam Barzak. The right guard getting some playing time today because of Connor Bishop. Watch Sam Barzak, number 62. This is how you do it. Boom! I mean, smokes Hunter Webb right back into the safety, knocks him down. What a block by Barzak. He took 2 there.
Ross.
Man, Barzak's only play. This is his first playing time today.
Well, the offensive line, no Bishop, so nobody on that O-line has started, including today, more than 6 games in their careers. But that offensive line is having its way, and Army, yet another play of more than 50 yards this afternoon. This one goes for 70. Proud supporter of Armed Forces football. Our producer, Bill Thayer, Ross, has the updated drive chart here for Army, which tacks on an 82-yard drive that lasted 51 seconds.
Yeah, big play offense for Army. By the way, I've gotten several tweets, as we just saw the Corps cadets again, to @RossTuckerNFL. The Corps is organized into 36 cadet companies. Each company has its own nickname and mascot. It's usually a plebe, as you can see, like right there, the alligator head. It's a plebe that typically wears the costume, and it's considered an honor to wear your company's mascot costume at the game. So thank you to all of them. Look at those guys.
So what?
Look at those guys.
So,
thank you to all the people that hit me up on Twitter @RossTuckerNFL. I probably had about 10 servicemen hit me up and let me know, former cadets, what the deal is.
Could you follow those tweets with an answer as to what that mascot was in the last shot as we take a look at this week's AP Top 10 powered by Ram Trucks? Oklahoma, Ross, having to go there with Nebraska, and then you circle what's coming up on CBS today with Alabama at Florida.
Yeah, so that times out great for me because I'll get in my car and I'll get a chance to listen, and then when I get home, watch on CBS to Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson. That game should be awesome. Can't wait to see what Florida does at the quarterback position.
Anthony Richardson, over 100 yards rushing and passing. First it's Tim Tebow, but it's Emory Jones that has been the starter, so that's the question. Here it's Nate Carter who gets the handoff, and Cedric Cunningham just drives him back. They give him a couple of yards. So you talked on the last drive here as Nate Woody's defense has absolutely shut down UConn, but they have given up plays that if UConn doesn't make mistakes, this could be 28-14.
It could be a lot closer. It sounds weird that it's 28-0, yet I've been fairly impressed with UConn's true freshman, Tyler Pumachan at quarterback. I think they might have something here.
He's 6 of 11 on the day for only 26 yards passing, but again,
2 blatant drops,
yep,
and the one long throw got called back by penalty.
Yeah, a 55-yarder. He tries to roll out, chase down. That's a tough throw, and it's intercepted for the second straight week. Marquell Broughton picks off a pass thrown late over the middle.
We talked to him yesterday. This is what Marquell Broughton does. He's so good at reading plays and breaking on them. Clearly an interception. Terrific break on the football, eerily similar to what he did last week. And there's the broad axe. Look at that. Wow, man. That's better than any other turnover chain or weapon that I've seen. I mean, that's a legit broad axe right there.
No question about it. It has become their motto. Tina will have more on that in just a second. Marquell had that last week. Comes over and grabs it. Be careful with that. That's a real axe. Anderson set to pass again. Looking downfield. Finds his tight end. That is Lingenfelter pushing his way inside the 5. Down to the 2. That's a gain of 31 on the pass.
And the tight ends finally get involved in the passing game. Watch Lingenfelter. Oh no, he's on the other side. He's going to come all the way across. Lingenfelter's going to end up coming all the way across the formation. Hard to see when they're in their stance like that. Brent Davis told us that Christian Anderson was biased against the tight ends, throwing it to the receivers. Now he gets it to the tight end.
That's the first tight end catch on the year. Anderson already 2 rushing touchdowns. This time cannot get away. Eric Watts just hanging around by his ankles. Marquavian Evans as well. And the backup defensive lineman for UConn as they are trying to roll in a whole bunch of different players.
Well, you have to against this Army offense. They're just so relentless and brutal with their approach on offense. It can really wear you out.
But part of that is usually you're facing 13, 14 play drives. That has not been the case today.
No, you're right. Coming to an unbalanced to the right side, 3 offensive linemen force the players to make the adjustment.
The handoff to Buchanan. 2 touchdowns last week. Give him 1 this week. The 260-pounder capitalizes on the interception from Pumachan. And it's a 5-touchdown lead.
You know what we say, Jay? Fire the Buchanans. Terrific block on the edge by Brahim Murphy, as always. You know, even when Kevon Jones gets off that block, Buchanan just has too much power. You're not used to trying to tackle a 6-foot, 260-pound bowling ball.
Who somehow never falls before the line of scrimmage. Quinn Moretsky was in that time for the extra point. That is good. But Marquell Broughton and the defense, one more time opportunistic and taking away the axe for Army.
To set my family up in the future, serve my country, and basically just get the best education, be around excellence 24/7. I couldn't let go of that opportunity, and I just felt like coming here was that point in my life that would get me to the next level, and just to make my future family and everyone that I support and everyone that supports me to really just believe that, like, you can do it.
Marquell Broughton, just the 3rd junior captain in the 8 years under Jeff Monken, as we take a look at our time of the day for the life of a cadet, brought to you by today's military. 0500, the wake up class, 0740 to 1200. Lunch is in there, get the lift. Football meetings and practice somewhere in there, and that day in the life is going to have to be intercept an opponent's pass on Saturday, because that's back-to-back right around 1200.
Well, they're the only guys I know that wake up at 5 o'clock in college. I think I went to bed more often at 5 o'clock than I did wake up at 5 o'clock when I was in college.
He is, as we got a chance to spend a lot of time with him yesterday, a very impressive man, and as all the coaches say, the emotional leader of this team, and that's a problem. Robert Burns, almost broke through after that mistake in communication. Now, he was carrying the broad axe. Tina, what is he carrying? What is that thing?
All right, so the broad axe is a representation of defensive coordinator Nate Woody's philosophy. Back in the 90s, Woody read an article comparing the North Carolina basketball defense to an ancient broad axe, how sweat and effort are its trademarks. So to create a visual reminder, Major Blake Powers, Army's football admissions officer, took a small axe, added a broad-faced head to the hatchet, and it is real and it is sharp, and Marquell Broughton started the whole turnover axe last week because he was the player awarded with the broad axe after a great week of practice. Today, it was Aaron Carter.
Tina, did they let you hold that earlier today?
I did. It is scary. Even Nate Woody said he gets a little nervous when the guys lift it up. They want to make sure that the cover is on the head of that. By the way, a broad axe was also used as a weapon for the Army Rangers back in the day.
Okay.
Well, I like that they got the cover on it. That was the first thing I noticed. I mean, that is a serious weapon right there, man. I don't know. You got young men fired up on the sideline. Let's make sure we keep that cover on. Although they're literally in the Army. I think they know what they're doing with weapons more than I do.
That was what I was going to say. Markwell told us yesterday he had to give it back on Monday. He didn't want to. Only here do you find that in a barracks. Going deep, incomplete.
Really good coverage.
Looking for Aaron Turner, but yeah, the coverage was out there. Cedric Cunningham again, and it's 3rd and long.
That's the right thing by UConn. Watch Cunningham. See, watch, he does not get his head around for the football, but he doesn't panic. When he sees Turner put his hands up, Cunningham put his right hand up. You don't always have to turn and watch the football, but if you keep your eyes on the receiver, you can see when they start to go to make a play to catch the football and put your arm up. That was outstanding by Cunningham.
Well, now we'll see if Army comes after him. Carter's at the top of your screen, 4.5 sacks. They've also got Nate Smith in, who already has a sack today, and UConn is 0-4 on 3rd down. They only bring 4. Pumachan gets away, tries to take off. He's got the 1st down, uses his legs before Broughton throws him out of bounds, out past the 30.
I'm telling you, they got something here with Pumachan. They need to, this is what he needs to do. It's a good job by the offensive line in pass protection. Excellent job. Carter got in there. Pumachan steps up, but he is agile, man. When he gets in the open field, he almost looks like a running back there. He can make a safety miss like that. I like what I'm seeing from Pumachan.
He's got 29 yards rushing. Shown his athleticism, keeps it. He's got a man in his face. Spins away and almost got away. That is Nate Smith coming up through the middle after he avoided Malcolm Morrison.
Watch Morrison on the blitz here off the edge. Pumachan sees it, pulls it, able to make Morrison miss. He just couldn't quite. Oh, that's a trip by Smith. That is a miss by the officials. You see Smith whip his leg around right there? But that's a poor job by the officials. That was a blatant trip by Nate Smith that they missed.
Well, they haven't gotten Pumachan on the first defender very often.
No, he makes the first guy miss.
Every time.
Army's doing a good job, though, of being aggressive to make him have to make quick decisions. They might be bringing Eric Smith here. Here he comes.
There he does. They pick up Eric Smith. Pumachan dumps it down to Carter in space, gets away from the defender, and gets UConn into Army territory. So you thought Pumachan might run there, but he gets it to his freshman running back who takes it for another big play.
All right, so let's start with the blitz pickup here. This is excellent. Eric Smith's gonna come, and he just gets eaten up by Noel Ofori-Nyada. And then in comes Carter. You see how Pumachan just kind of shoveled that? Pumachan's got a nice feel for it, and a good stiff arm right there for Broughton to miss the tackle. Good stiff arm by Carter.
And it is Broughton who missed that tackle, who was down on the field. So already today for Army on the defensive side of the ball, we have seen Wabina Bonsu taken to the sideline. Ryan Duran was down for a significant amount of time, and now here's one of the forward defensive captains. Bonsu has made his way back into the game.
Well, this would be a major loss. He's one of the best players on the team, and he's only a junior. He's one of the best players last year, I thought, as a sophomore.
Well, and Russ, this is something a coach will never start talking about, but they've already missed some players, right, for a significant of time, right? Sean Eckert at wide receiver is out for the year that they lost last week to a knee injury. No Connor Bishop, he was taken off last week. They're not sure when he's coming back. The B-back Tyson Riley, right? Tyler, excuse me, missing his 2nd straight game. So it is 35-0, right? You're not taking anybody out in the 2nd quarter, but at what point do you start limiting reps from your one?
Well, what I've noticed is they're already starting to get some other guys involved. We're seeing a lot more Nate Smith. We've seen Austin Hill out there. I've seen Darius Richardson. They've sprinkled in some backups with some of the other guys, and now at safety, Quindraylon Hammonds has come in to replace Markwell Broughton.
6-foot sophomore. There's number 26 for Army. Pumachan again. He looks like that looks like a broken play, but somehow he got out of it. Ooh. And he is sandwiched. 4 different Army players led by Morrison. Somehow he got away from the sack, and you got to hope he comes away with that too.
Yeah, so somebody needs to talk to him, though. He's not going to make it through the game. I mean, you cannot take hits like that at 5'10", $187. Go down right there. Do not do that. Do not do that. You know, that's hard because he's probably never had to do that. In high school, he would just put his shoulder down. He's going against high school kids. The Black Knight defense, they are not high school kids.
He brings 4, and again, Pumachan gets out of the pocket, trying to escort the guys downfield, left it low. His tight end, Jay Rose, couldn't get down to the turf. Eric Smith in coverage. But again, that, to your point about Pumachan, making his first career college game, freshman from Connecticut, Stratford. His brother, backup quarterback at Clemson, was a high recruit there for Dabo Swinney. But they're looking for different elements to this offense since they brought in Nomazoni, right? A guy who is very well adept at the spread. And you're seeing getting him out on the edge to give him some vision.
And that's another one where I think Pumachan probably could have ran for a good 5 to 7 yards. He wanted to give his tight end a chance.
This is 3rd and 8. They need the Army 37.
They're showing pressure. Here it comes.
Pumachan settled in. That's batted up in the air and almost intercepted. Cockrell got his hand up to knock it down. Carter couldn't track it down. And down 35-0, you're going, right?
Well, I would go for it, absolutely. And that's, you know, the UConn offensive line's done a pretty nice job. Good blitz pickup here. They brought 5. Frank Joffrey's group. Cockrell just gets that big left hand up. That's what they teach you to do if you can't get to the quarterback. But yes, this side of the field, 35-0. And it feels like Pumachan's legs will be a factor. Also feels like Army's probably likely to bring at least 1 extra defender.
They have tried a 4th down earlier today, did not get it. Army does bring 5. Pumachan gets out of there. Smith giving chase, looking downfield. Good throw, and it's dropped again.
This is unreal.
Cameron Hairston, it was put on his hands by Pumachan, and a turnover on downs.
I mean, look, Cameron Hairston does not want to drop that football. He's a young man doing the best he can, but boy, you got to make this play for your quarterback and for your team. It's a terrific throw by Pumachan. 4th and 8, puts it right on you. I'm sorry, you got to catch that football.
Well, and that gets to the point that you continuously have been harping on here with UConn and Pumachan. He has hit Turner, who got behind the defense, would have made a touchdown. They had a 58-yarder that was negated by a penalty. And Army up 35-0 is going to Jamel Jones, and they're going back to the outside. It's Atkins inside the 35-yard line with Dixon making the tackle. Jamel Jones did not get in the game for more than 1 play last week, and that was just because Anderson's helmet came off. He played very well against Georgia State and threw a 32-yard touchdown pass in the opener.
And did some good things last year as well when he got the opportunity. Powerfully built at 5'10", 210 from the Colony in Texas. He is a junior, so like Tyre Tyler, he'll be able to be back next year as well.
He had 238 rushing yards as they cycled through 6 different quarterbacks last season. And it is Atkins almost scored it through. Jackson Mitchell got a piece of his ankle. That's a 1st down run, this time of 10. So back-to-back carries for Anthony Atkins have gone for 31 yards.
Army's going with the steady Atkins diet on this drive. Boom.
Now, how long have you been holding that since you knew he lost weight?
You know what? It wasn't even me. Our producer, Bill Thayer, just said it in my ear. I would love to take credit for that dad joke, but Bill Thayer's a dad as well.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it's 35-0. I'm breaking out the Atkins diet jokes, okay? By the way, that's what I'm on. You see that my tailgate on social media? You see the food I had before the game? I think that was Atkins.
You look like Ken Kobayashi trying to get a hot dog.
Filet sandwich.
Steady diet. There's more Atkins.
Nice.
Push forward, 3 yards. Atkins is no bread, right?
Correct. I try to, you know what I do? I combine a lot of diets to create my own diet. I don't have that much bread. I go more meat, but I don't go like cold turkey, so I'm not really doing the diet. You ever do that? You ever kind of like invent your own diet that's not really a diet?
I was a large kid. My mom took me to red light, yellow light, green light food camp. So I don't know what kind of diet that was.
Are you serious?
That's serious. We're going to have to delve into that.
Oh my gosh. I got to hear more.
This time Jones keeps it. Howard had to wait for the pitch. That wasn't the best pitch. And Mitchell drives him to the turf.
You know, the one thing I do love about UConn's defense, they're playing. I mean, those guys on defense, they are still playing. The D-line, Watch the pitch. Watch this tackle. See, they were off the rhythm. You called it, but watch Jackson Mitchell right here. Boom! And then he lifts up. That's it. Drive your legs and lift up. Really well done by Jackson Mitchell there.
FBS leader in tackles coming into this game for Jackson Mitchell at 29.
4-down territory here for the Black Knights.
Oh, no question. It's back to Atkins. He slipped a little bit, but pushes forward and has another first down, and it's another tackle. Combined Dixon and Mitchell.
Let's take a look at Atkins right there. His left foot just kind of gave out on him a little bit. I mean, this is a guy that got a full scholarship to Louisville to play defensive end. I mean, that's the type of body type that Anthony Atkins possesses. He's going 22 miles an hour, 245 pounds in the first game against Georgia State, according to the GPS.
And remember, he was a guy who was around 260, so that's the weight that he has lost on the pitch. UConn does a nice job stringing it out, but patience shown by A.J. Howard to still pick up about 5 yards.
Yeah, that's a nice run by Howard on the toss, because Kevon Jones, watch the right side of your screen. Kevon Jones, 48, he forces this back in. That's well done. With the long arm by Jones, then he actually gets in and makes the play. Outstanding job by Kevon Jones. I like the way he plays for UConn. Army might take this to the half. They get a first down before a touchdown.
They'd certainly love to do that, and they'll get the ball to start the second half. Again, it's Atkins, pushed back one more time. Looked like Kevon Jones, who was leading the way again.
And neither side's going to call timeout right now. I don't think, you know, UConn's the side that should be considering. Army's got plenty of time to get done what they want to get done, which is scoring a touchdown. They've got 2 downs now to get 3 yards, and they're only 5 yards from the end zone. Lou Spanos should be considering taking a timeout. Maybe he will after this play, because you'd like to get your young quarterback a 2-minute drill and try to get some points before the end of the first half.
Oh yeah, anything that resembles experience right now will be beneficial for UConn. Inside of 90 seconds to go in the half. Jamel Jones in for Anderson. And it looks like he does have the first down, setting up 1st and goal. Well, coming up, halftime report powered by Ram Trucks. Adam Zucker, Rick Neuheisel, Brian Jones will get you ready for an exciting week 3 of college football. All from our New York studios. Very good games around the country. Nebraska and Oklahoma in the old Big 8 rivalry. Michigan State on the road at Miami. West Virginia, Virginia Tech, an old rivalry going on here in the early day. Coach Neuheisel and Brian Jones there with Adam. Coming up here in just about 55 seconds. It has been all Army here this afternoon. 35-0. Christian Anderson led 5 touchdown drives. Jamel Jones in for this one. The handoff to Atkins. He rolls over the defense, and he's not in.
All right, so now Jeff Monken might want to consider a timeout here. They've got all 3. They're going to go right on the football. Rather than a timeout, right on the football. Very likely a handoff to Atkins.
That was DJ Morgan who was slow to get up. The linebacker transferred from Notre Dame. There is Atkins. He is over the top. And another touchdown for Army. He had one last week. He's got another one this week. 41-0 Black Knights.
You love the way Army went right back on the football. They might have just said same play, same play. I'm sure they have some other type of audible, but it was the exact same play, and Atkins goes up over the top. That's got to be fun when you're kind of like floating on other bodies, but you know you're scoring a touchdown.
Well, I was going to ask you what it's like to be an offensive lineman with other bodies on top of you floating over. Moretsky on.
As long as it's a touchdown, it's all right.
Moretsky is on for an extra point again, so tally with the first 4. And Quinn Moretsky has come on for the last 2, but Anthony Atkins caps off what could be a half-inning drive. $42-0 with less than 16 seconds to go on a day where Army has had, well, all kinds of success with 323 first half yards today against this UConn defense, Ross, that again came into the day against FBS opponents, losing 94-0 combined to Fresno State and then Purdue last week, and Army's handled business today.
Yeah, it's a mature performance so far by the Black Knights.
Fair catch called for. So 16 seconds to go. You have 3 timeouts. Phommachanh has shown the ability to get out of the pocket, trying to throw downfield. Would you let him do it or just take a handoff and go to the locker room?
I think they're probably just going to hand off and go to the locker room. I don't know that they want to subject him to another hit. But looking at the offense come out, it looks like they've got 3 receivers set, so maybe they'll take a shot.
It is a handoff, and that'll do it for this opening half. UConn has had chances. Phommachanh has had some good throws. His receivers just haven't helped him out, and so Army has taken advantage to the tune of a 42-0 halftime lead, and will get the ball to start the second half. After the break, back to Adam Zucker in the game. Get you set for halftime right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. For the start of the second half with the first half stats brought to you by The Exchange. 253 yards on the ground for Army. You know, time of possession that is always such a big deal. Not really as one-sided as you'd expect in a 42-0 game, but it's because of 4th down stops, takeaways, and then big plays for the Army offense. Jason Horwitz, Ross Tucker, happy to have you back with us here inside Michie Stadium. Tina Servasio in a moment. Ross, 42-0, your biggest takeaway from the first half?
Well, probably 2. 1, Army's big plays. They didn't possess the ball that long. They were actually getting big chunk plays. They don't usually do that. And then for UConn, I like the quarterback. I like Tyler Phommachanh. I think for a true freshman, he's done some really positive things. I'm encouraged about him.
Yeah, and it's hard to say that when they have not scored against an FBS opponent, but it is starting to look like they've got something there. As for Army, well, this is what they know. This is the second offensive play of the day. Brandon Walters was found himself in space.
Well, and that's what bothered me. That was way too easy. There's got to be somebody out there for the pitch man. And then even when Tyrell Robinson went right down Main Street, he wasn't touched. So that's been the concern for me, is UConn defensively. A couple of the big scores and big plays for the Black Knights have just been way too easy.
Let's quickly go downstairs to Tina.
I spoke to UConn head coach Lou Spanos. He is very upset with the way the defense is playing. He says this is not our defense's identity. We have got to get Army off the field. We can't let them score on every possession. Now, Jeff Monken, he's thrilled with the way Army's running the ball, pressuring the UConn quarterback, but Monken is concerned about keeping players healthy. Kobana Bonsu is out. Ryan Duran is out. Watch Army rotate some new players in. Monken said they just need to focus on the second half and finish the game the right way.
Tina, thank you. Ross, you were just making that point as UConn kicks away here to start the second half. And a fair catch called for. It's over his head. They'll start at the 25. About the ability for Army to bring in some fresh faces and get experience. But for Lou Spanos, this is his second game as interim coach. Randy Edsall resigned after the loss to Holy Cross. Was going to be at the end of the season. Started immediately the next day when Lou Spanos was named the interim head coach for the rest of this year. This is a fiery guy, Ross. A lot of passion. Never had the chance to be a head coach, but he has been a good defensive coordinator before.
I've known Lou for a while. Really like him. He's a Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh guy. Tough guy. Really enjoy talking with him. And really every player and coach we talked about said that he's really made it fun. What he says to the other guys is, what kind of teammate do you want to be?
Different energy around the UConn program, but unfortunately today the result has been the same. Jamel Jones stays in as quarterback, and that's their best defensive play. Malik Dixon strung it out. They took the quarterback, they took the pitch man, and it's a loss of 2.
I love that. Love that by Malik Dixon. Watch 31. Watch him read this, take on the block, and make the play. Pretend you're the safety. Right side of your screen. Okay, I see it, I see it. Bounce off the block. Good job. Outside arm free. Awesome job by Malik Dixon. You know, right now, if you're UConn, you're probably not going to come back in this game, right? What you want to do, you keep fighting. You keep playing hard, and you show you deserve more playing time, and you show what your character is all about with how you perform here in the second half.
And by the way, for Army, already getting those players in who haven't played yet this year. That's less group players who have the run. That's the pass for Jones, and he high-pointed it. What a grab! Ryan Jakovic going up to make the snare for Army.
Jakovic right there, just gonna run a skinny post. Jamel Jones lobs it up. Jakovic makes a play while Dixon was draped all over him. Strong hands. That is really well done. And this is invaluable for the Black Knights to get some of their depth, some of their backup, some of their younger players playing time. Some guys, Jason, are just better in the games than they are in practice.
That's Lescaflair getting the snap, and again, snuffed out Wortham. Got him behind the line, he got back there for a gain of maybe one. First half possessions, I mean, you can't do better than that. That is a perfect 100 on any test you ever take.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, it's not often that Brent Davis or any offensive coordinator or head coach in the country, Ross, is going to get to start those guys who don't get those snaps right away in the third quarter.
No, you're right. He's got the Diet Coke. Oh, here goes the Diet Coke. The other day he had the Mellow Yellow Zero. He said it's hard to find, but he's a big Mellow Yellow Zero guy. I never even heard of Mellow Yellow Zero.
Well, everything's got to have a zero somewhere, right? Jones handed off. It's Cato getting the carry. Jackson Mitchell, who had 9 tackles in the opening half for UConn, made the stop there. The FBS leader in tackles, the linebacker for the Huskies.
So the point I wanted to make, and we were talking about it, right, and I know it's still early in the third quarter, but there are guys I played with in high school, college, and the NFL that were better or worse in games than they were in practice. There's just some guys, when the lights are on and when there's a crowd, they perform better. Some guys, quite frankly, don't perform as well. And this gives Army a chance to find out who those guys are out of their second and third string.
Jones was red right off the snap. Great play right off the snap. Marquavian and Evans got in there for the stop, the freshman.
He's done it a couple times. Watch him right here. He's going to fight away and make this play. Marquavian and Evans going to split the double team. The right guard too slow to get there, and he makes the play. Good quickness by Evans, a very different body type than Travis Jones at nose tackle. Evans, a freshman, 6'2", 277 from South Carolina.
It's a fourth down play for Jamel Jones in 5. Fakes the throw, keeps it himself, not gonna get there, it's close.
Wow, it's close.
Maybe that last ditch effort got there. It looked like UConn wrapped him up before the 31.
He's short. He had to get to the 31, he didn't get there. Good job, UConn.
No, they did not. UConn does get the stop. And
Good
the
job by
downs.
UConn's defense. That's exactly what those guys needed to do.
Eric Watts makes the clutch tackle. So UConn trying to build on something here in the third quarter, gets a defensive stop. Goal line stance against Navy was huge. Touchdown from Tyler, 15-0 against the midshipmen. Then 1 week later, hosting Air Force and Jacoby Buchanan. We'll get used to this. 1-yard touchdown plunge with 1 minute to go, claiming the CIC trophy for the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons. And there are only 84 days to go in the countdown to America's game. It's the Army-Navy game, presented by USAA, coming up on CBS Sports. Well, UConn's offense set to take the field after a 4th down stop. The first time this afternoon that Army has not put together a touchdown drive.
All backups out there for Army's defense, which is valuable for those guys to get time and opportunity, but also an opportunity for UConn to get some points on the board.
Pumachan was 7 of 18 in the opening half. They run a reverse right out of the gate. Rose on the edge with the block. It's Aaron Turner.
Wow.
Stays on his feet into Army territory. Turner takes that one for 21 yards.
Turner's got some explosive ability there. Watch Pumachan end up getting a block here. Pumachan's going to hand it to Bruton. He pitches it, and then Pumachan gets a seal block right there, just enough on Nate Smith. And then Turner stayed on his feet after he got spun around. That was impressive.
Dumps it down to Rose, tracked down from behind. Well, UConn's offense, nothing to show for in terms of points. Didn't have 100 yards, but Ross, they had so many chances to put up a lot in the first half.
Well, this was a great throw to Turner. Would have been probably a touchdown that he just wasn't able to catch. And then They get over 50 yards on this play, but Chris Fortin, 67, right there with an unnecessary blindside block, and then they had another drop later from Hairston.
Fourth down play. That one was batted down right at the line of scrimmage. Nate Smith got his hand up. He had a sack in the opening half. 260-pounder, and that's the position, Ross. They put him down at defensive end. They can play him at outside linebacker. Guy that they think is going to get involved a lot more as this season goes on the defensive side.
Right, and here's the reality, especially the way Army plays. A lot of guys out there on defense for Army right now, people don't know. 2 or 3 of these guys are going to be starting in that Army-Navy game. And that's just the way it goes over the course of the season. So these guys you don't know that much yet. If you're a Black Knight fan, see how they play now, because you might need them.
Pumachan kept it, got away from a defender. Nothing but grass in front of him. That's his first career touchdown. And a beauty, 38 yards for Tyler Pumachan.
I'm telling you, man, I like Pumachan. Watch the fake, and then he'll keep it, and he just breaks one tackle. Pulls it, boom, breaks that one tackle off the edge from Charlo and goes right down the hash. Charlo is responsible for the quarterback. If he misses the tackle, Pumachan's gone. Well done by Pumachan.
They were late to get the holder on here. They haven't not had an extra point yet against an FBS team, because that is UConn's first points this season against an FBS opponent. They went 10 quarters. They had chances. And now maybe they got something to work for the rest of the season in a freshman quarterback from Connecticut. Around the nation for the latest headlines and highlights from all of college football. It is Inside College Football on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Brent Stover will stay up late with you following Iowa State and UNLV tonight. See how Iowa State bounces back from the loss to Iowa. Meanwhile, for Tyler Pumachan, getting in the end zone on a 38-yard quarterback keeper, the first points for UConn against an FBS team in 658 days. Now, that is a little misleading because they didn't play last year. One of the 3 FBS teams who did not compete because of COVID-19. And for Coach Lou Spanos, right on the staff last year, for him, COVID-19 hit home. Recently, his father, leading up to the Holy Cross game, passed away from COVID-19. His dad, George, he coached in that game. Randy Edsall resigned. He was named interim head coach. And then the funeral was the Tuesday leading up to the Purdue game. So a couple of weeks for Lou Spanos. But he said his team is all he really knows. And he said they were there for him emotionally, helped him through all of this, which is obviously one of the most trying times in his life as well.
Well, spent a lot of time on FaceTime with his family, with his dad. But you want to talk about a crazy 2 weeks to lose your dad and be named the head coach for the first time. Extremely eventful, and we've talked with Lou Spanos a couple times before the Holy Cross game and this week, and his optimism just comes roaring through the Zoom calls.
Owens keeps it himself and brought down to the turf.
And Jason, in talking to Lou Spanos, he never thought of stepping away from football when he got the news that his father had passed. He said that football is a sanctuary for him. He doesn't consider it work. He considers it part of his life. And he says, you know, just to get through this, I have the love of my players. They have all showed me love and support. And he has a psychologist, and he says it's football. Back to you.
Yeah, and Tina, we asked about if there were any players that stood out in terms of what they did for him or coaching staff. They said they were all incredible throughout the whole process. That's the pitch shot to the edge, and it's a first down for Army. Tracked down by Hunter Webb, who got the start today for the injury to Omar Ford. And again, Lou Spanos, Ross, 15 years in the NFL as an assistant with the Pittsburgh Steelers, has been around college football, was on Nick Saban's staff as analyst in 2018. You tell the moment you were around him, and with us it was a Zoom call, just how much energy and passion he has. And then talking to players and coaches this week, they said there's a different feeling around this team, a feeling almost like a breath of fresh air since he has taken over to try and set a new standard of UConn football.
Well, he's certainly optimistic, that's for sure. You know, we've talked to him a couple of times, and I think he's just a guy that really has a lot of gratitude and appreciation for what it is he gets to do for a living. You know, he's a Pittsburgh guy, played the Big 33 game, just loves football through and through, and appreciates just getting a chance to be around these young guys that he really enjoys. He wants them to have some success. He wants them to have some fun. He wants smiles on their faces.
They're going to be excited about how they've opened up the third quarter. A defensive stop and their first touchdown drive against the FBS this season. The pitch coming back. UConn trying to track down Vini. He got the edge, and he has a first down across midfield. Let's go back down to Tina.
As we continue talking about Lou Spanos' late father, George, who just passed away, he was a painter by trade, but he was also an Army veteran, and he was given military honors at his funeral. Of course, you mentioned this, Jason. It was virtual, and Lou Spanos was able to talk to his family via Facebook and all the virtual apps, of course, that he said, but my dad is buried just down the street from me, so he'll be making a visit there, of course, after the season is over.
Down in South Carolina, where the Spanos family has called home for the past 10 years. Was a first down on the run. Jones gets away from the defense and picks up 3 or 4 yards. Christian Anderson, Ross, the first 5 series for Army, they built the 35-0 lead, and right now they've gone to backup quarterback Jamel Jones.
Yeah, that's a nice job there by Jones, because UConn was all over that. So him being able to get north and south, break that one tackle to make it 2nd and 6. If he gets tackled in the backfield, that's a totally different situation for Army. Totally throws them off schedule.
Again, it's Jones tucking it under his arm and has another first down. And you know, this was an offense, Ross, in the offseason where Jeff Monken continuously said that, hey, we've got 5 different quarterbacks, so we feel comfortable that we can lead this offense, we can take it down the field, we can score. It started with Tyler Tyler the first 2 series against Georgia State. They were going to go to Christian Anderson anyway. It just so happened that Tyler got hurt and hasn't played since. Anderson has been spectacular, but Jamel Jones played well in that Georgia State game too.
And I'm telling you, Cade Ballard did a really nice job. Cade Ballard got a win at UTSA last year as a freshman.
Jones got away from Mitchell, and he's finally taken down by Jalon Farrell. USAA, official sponsor of Armed Forces Football. As we dip inside of 6 minutes to go here in a fast-moving third quarter. Army had a 42-0 halftime lead. Opening drive, took it down the field, stopped on a 4th down play. UConn put one in the end zone on a 38-yard touchdown run from Tyler Pumachan, their freshman quarterback. Jones again keeps it himself. And he gets so skinny, Ross, through the hole to get it into the red zone.
You know, I'm actually surprised that they're running Jones as much as they are. You know, right now, speaking to Jeff Monken about keeping guys healthy, Jamel Jones is their backup quarterback. Now, they've got some other guys in Ballard and Laws and, of course, Ballon as well. But, you know, Jones is their number 2 guy, and their quarterbacks have a tendency to get banged up. I'm a little surprised they're running Jones as much as they are, but a lot of times that's the read.
He has 8 carries for 41 yards on the ground. This is his 3rd drive working today. It's Cato diving ahead for 3. And the surprise of the day is that this is really the first drive that we have seen like this from Army today. We are so accustomed to seeing Army put together 13, 14, 15 play drives doing exactly this. But today it's been 70-yard touchdown run, 58 yards to get inside the 5, 40-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, this has been a longer drive than they have had to have today. It's been a lot of quick, big plays.
And this is the 10th play of the drive. Jones again keeps it. And Mitchell on top of him at the 10, so it'll set up 3rd down.
You know, it'll be interesting to see here on about 3rd and 4 if they get stuffed here, depending on how many yards they get. I'd be curious to see whether or not Jeff Monken would go for it anyway, or if he'd want to get, you know, the field goal operation an opportunity to make a field goal. think it probably depends on how many yards they get here on third down.
Well, the question, too, on that part is which kicker, because Cole Talley has made a couple this season, but Quinn Moretsky has taken the extra points the last 2 touchdowns. Jones out in front. Hunter Webb tracked him down. So they didn't gain the yards, they lost the yards, and it'll set up 4th. Now there is a flag down in the secondary.
Very late penalty after Hunter Webb from Loyalsock High School in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Terrific job that time, playing his responsibility of the quarterback. And man, you cannot afford a penalty here if you're UConn after you get a big stop there on third down.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 48. Half the distance to the goal, penalty, first down.
Well, and that's one of their experienced players on a team that has north of 45 freshmen. That's Kevon Jones, the junior.
Can't do it. I mean, you can't do it. Hunter Webb gets a tackle for a loss. You just absolutely cannot do that. You get a tackle for a loss, you're going to force him to kick a field goal or go for it. And now instead, Kevon Jones might have just given him 7 points here.
Well, it's only the 2nd penalty of the game, but they have both been big. Cato down to the 2. Wilson Cato last year was on the defensive side of the ball. The senior from Sewanee, Georgia, 6'2", 240 pounds. Trying to find the end zone for the first time on the season.
And I'm so happy for guys like him, too. You know, he's really, what, the 4th or 5th string fullback, so he's not going to get a lot of playing time in games that are competitive. But think about it, I mean, 5 hours a day he commits to this football program.
He gets the handoff. He's close to the end zone. He's in. The dive for the fullback, and Cato has the score.
Man, that's awesome. Wow. Those cannons, when you really watch them, man, that is serious. It's just a fullback dive to the left. Good job by Ward on the down block. Chris Cameron at tight end always does a nice job. And Cato getting in the end zone, something he will remember forever.
Now it is 48-7. Did the ball get across before his knee was down? Every play in college is reviewed. They can stop it from up here. They do not. And Moretsky bangs home the extra point. So 7 touchdowns today for the Black Knights by 6 different players. The core to, well, certainly something extremely enjoyable here at Michie Stadium. Scoring summary on that drive, 7.5 minutes. First career rushing touchdown for Wilson Cato, who was on defense last year. And again, that's the drive you expect from Army. And again, all led by Jamel Jones, right? Backup quarterback, now 2 scoring drives today.
Absolutely. By the way, we just saw those were the Guppies. That's the fish company. The fish are the company mascot for United States Military Academy Company G4. Go Guppies. Those are Guppies. You asked before?
I did.
Go Guppies.
Now here's the question.
I like a dancing guppy. Look at, yeah.
So that is a fighting guppy. And by the way, continue those tweets in and to let us know what all the different mascots are that we highlight throughout the broadcast here on CBS Sports
What is that
Network.
one?
Well, again, it looked like a shark, right?
That's just,
well, that's an emoji.
Oh, an emoji. What is this guy? I love these.
At Russ Tucker, NFL, if you'd like to continue. That looks like Alvin and the Chipmunks, right?
Yeah, you know what? I love that every company has their own mascot.
Absolutely. He's short. It's brought out by Bruton. Gets a nice block. Trying to take it upfield, and Bruton's into space. Showed the patience. Moretsky to beat. And the freshman is going to take it on a kickoff return to the house. Brian Bruton takes it the distance.
And look how excited the UConn players are. I love that. Jumping around, excited, happy. Look, they're getting blown out. We all know it. It's 49-13. But these kids aren't quitting. They're excited. They're happy. I noticed that from the tape against Purdue last week. Cuts it all the way back, gets some terrific blocks, and then just able to beat the kicker to the perimeter. Bruton's got some juice, man. They got a lot of freshmen showing up. Bruton is 5'6", $166 from St. Thomas Aquinas in Miami.
One of the premier high school programs putting out plays. And again, last week, right, Jeff Monken was not happy and is not happy with the second half performance of the defense, and had a lot that he was telling us that they had to correct.
And they only had 10 guys out there right now. Jeff Monken's about to get really angry.
No question. It is booted through by McFadden. And so all the things that they had done so well in the first half to build up a 42-0 lead right now, building some confidence for UConn and things for Army to work on in the league week into next week. Touchdown gets us to a 35-point game. Coming up next, more college football on the way. SMU taking on Louisiana Tech, followed by Utah. After the loss to BYU, head-to-head against San Diego State, has already got a win against the Pac-12. That at 7 Eastern, and then our coverage wraps up tonight. One of the nation's top teams trying to bounce back. 14th ranked Iowa State on the road at UNLV. It's all coming your way on CBS Sports Network. For SMU, 11 touchdowns on the season through the air for the Oklahoma transfer Tanner Mordecai. 2-0 on the season, the win last week against North Texas.
74% completion percentage, by the way.
Nobody does the transfer portal right now as well as Sonny Dykes, the head coach of SMU.
And I feel like there's certain schools that when you transfer there as a quarterback, you almost always do well. SMU, I feel like SMU always has a transfer quarterback who's putting up numbers.
No question. Well, it's been the case for the last 4 years. Here it's 49-14, 2:12 to go. And Ross, if you're Jeff Monken, who is always so caught up on precision, right? Obviously. You've seen what has happened here in this third quarter, giving up a big play and then the kickoff return for a touchdown.
He takes this very seriously, as he should, right? Like, anybody on the field is a reflection of him and his coaching staff. He wants them all to be prepared and all to play at the level and the standards they expect.
Jeff Monken in his 8th year. This was a big week for coaches around the country. On Monday, it was Clay Helton who was fired after USC got hammered by Stanford. Tonight, they are on the road with Coach Williams, the interim head coach at Washington State. But the one at Navy, too, right? UConn, of course, was a couple weeks ago with Randy Edsall. A strange story, right? Ivan Jasper, they get fired as the offensive coordinator by the athletic director after the 23-3 loss to Air Force. And the next day, the conversation with Kenny Amatololo and the staff, and he's brought back on to coach quarterbacks.
Well, it's at best an awkward situation to have it go down like that. And the Clay Helton one, I don't know. I think it's weird. If you're going to fire a coach after a second game, you didn't really have that much confidence to bring him back this year in the first place, right?
And remember, it was Clay Helton's brother, Tyson Helton, who was here on this field last week.
Right.
Head coach at Western Kentucky in his 3rd season. What do you make of the situation here for UConn, right? Randy Edsall steps down on the Sunday after the loss to Holy Cross. Going to be for the season, different story. And we know it's Lou Spanos this year as the interim coach. What are you looking for in a UConn head coach?
Well, I think they're going to have to bring in a guy that's young with a lot of energy. I think you have to have a guy that has a proven track record of success as a head coach, as a guy that's in charge of the whole thing. And then ideally, it's a guy that's had a lot of success recruiting the Northeast, because that's still going to be where UConn gets the majority of their players. I know they've got some guys elsewhere, but they're going to get most of their guys from the Northeast.
Lou Spanos, you know, again, we heard Tina Servasio tell us right out of the locker room how upset he was with that first half, because they truly believe, despite 49-0 last week and 45-0 to Fresno State, they truly believe they are a better football team than they have shown in 42-0 and a half. And the third quarter, got to start to see the energy, because they are playing well here as a unit. And that's another 3rd down stop for this UConn defense here in the 3rd.
Interesting decision here for Jeff Monken with the 2nd string out there. You know, does he go for it on 4th and short? I think he will. Look, they go by the book. They have an analytics book that tells them down and distance situations. And certainly he would go for it here with the starters. So 4th and 1 with the backups, they're going to run their operation the way they normally would. UConn late to get a defender out here. They're going to have to hustle to get them off. They might have 12 guys.
Quavian Evans does get off the field on a 4th and 1. The handoff to the fullback.
He got it.
And he did get the first down. Cato got it over the line. And so that is an Army first down, which will take us to the end of the 3rd. Army is well on its way to a 3-0 start for the first time in 5 years here at West Point. But UConn showing some fight in the 3rd quarter. Start of the 4th coming up when we return here on CBS Sports Network. Over 330 on the ground, which is where they were last week against Western Kentucky. 49-14, the lead on UConn as we get ready for the start of the 4th quarter. But Ross, it was a different 3rd quarter for the Huskies. They had opportunities in the first half. They didn't capitalize. Different story.
Yeah, 3rd quarter, it started with Tyler Pumachan breaking a tackle and taking it to the house. Their first touchdown against an FBS opponent this year. And then Bruton, another true freshman, able to take it to the house on a kickoff return for a touchdown. That's the one thing I've noticed, is they've got a lot of freshmen, Marion, Turner, Bruton, as well as Pumachan making plays.
That's a quarterback keeper the whole way. Jones on the block. Shakori Williams getting some run at the B-back now. Behind the quarterback Jones, who has been in since the end of the 2nd half. Christian Anderson started this game, led Army on 5 consecutive touchdown drives, had 2 on the ground, threw a 39-yard touchdown pass, and it's been Jamel Jones' game since the end of the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and I guess I'm a little surprised that Cade Ballard's not out there, or that they're not getting another quarterback involved, just wanting to keep Jamel Jones healthy. But you know, there's still a lot of time left, and I think they want to make sure. They don't want UConn scoring another touchdown or a couple touchdowns and making this any kind of a game here, especially after what happened in the 4th quarter last week.
Shakori Williams gets his first career carry out to the 44-yard line. And that's, again, we were talking about this with the coaching staff. They rotate through 4 or 5 different fullbacks through the course of the game. They're starting to like the work that Williams is putting through during practice. Wanted to get him some reps, and here he is on the 2nd half getting some time.
5'10", 220 from Florian, Louisiana. They certainly recruit nationally. They get kids from everywhere.
On a 3rd and 2 for Jamel Jones, it's Cato. And he's got another first down for Army. He had a touchdown, his first career in the 3rd quarter. Well, and the other part to this too here, Ross, is we came into this game talking about the Army offensive line. No Connor Bishop, right? So getting Zach Ward his first career start at left guard. Noah Knapp moved over to the center spot. What the other thing they're doing here with an offensive line that doesn't have a ton of starting experience coming into this year is they're starting to build some experience for the backups as well.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of these guys, their depth on the offensive line, getting these guys some invaluable reps.
Williams, again spinning, not going down, takes 3 or 4 Huskies to bring him down. Devon Jones, or Dean, a couple of the ones to bring him down. But again, the effort's what you're looking for.
Yeah, watch him, pretty good blocking. Evans been everywhere, the freshman D tackle. Watch him, he knows he's not down. Keeps driving those legs. These guys, you know, it's funny too. You know how you see a guy like in the airport or at the gym and he looks pretty big? The difference between football players and bodybuilders usually, look at their legs. Look at the thighs, the glutes, the calf. Football players have big lower bodies typically.
Now 13 carries for Jamel Jones. And to your point about what is the right time to bring in the 3rd quarterback, or in the case of the Georgia State game, their 4th. Jabari Law is still trying to work his way back from the injuries there, the torn knee, 19 and in 20. He got in the game with about 3.5 to go in the Georgia State game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, nice to see guys like Chris Hunter out there, Jackson, Filipowicz, Dayton Baugh. I mean, a lot of these guys that don't get a lot of time are getting opportunities out there.
Cameron Holloway now at left tackle. Yet another carry for Jones.
He's close.
He's close. 10th play of the drive is going to give the Army another first down as they continue to just tear away at this fourth quarter clock.
Look at Monken. No mercy. This matters. Everything matters. It's one of the reasons why he's had so much success with this win. He'll be third all-time at West Point with 52 wins. Think about how long they've been playing football at West Point. And for Jeff Monken to be third all-time, this will be their 12th straight home win. Listen to him. I mean, he is focused on every detail. He was telling us yesterday how every week they spend time on onside kicks after they recovered 3 last week.
Williams again into the hole. Hunter Webb and Jackson Mitchell still trying to fight there. Jackson Mitchell for the second straight week now at over 15 tackles, Ross. Came into this game the leader in the FBS with 29.
And I'm a little surprised on some level, Jason, that UConn still has their starters out there on defense, because it feels like it'd be a good opportunity to let some of their second string guys get out there and show what they can do, and see if maybe there's some guys on the second string at UConn that deserve to get more playing time.
Cato keeps the legs driving. Wrapped up around the legs again. It's Mitchell before Dixon finished him off, but again.
All right, watch the left guard here, Jay. I love a good trap block. I mean, I do. Watch Dayton Ball. Go up inside. Boom! Hits Hunter Webb. Cato able to go. Nice job there by Dayton Ball. You know, I played guard in the wing T, Jason, and that was one of my favorite plays. Those little inside traps. We used to call it 1 and 2 dive. Ball, 6'4", 270-pound sophomore from Walton, Kentucky. Played at the prep school a couple years ago for Andy Wolfram.
And to your point, he's getting his first career action. Did not see any time the last couple of years. The sophomore, Devon Jones, making the stop.
And think about that, right? So, you know, you're a guy like Dayton Ball. You graduate from Walton, Kentucky. You go to the prep school up the road. You play a year for Andy Wolfram, who does an outstanding job there as the head coach of the prep school. You come down here. He didn't play at all last year. Hasn't played till this. I mean, these guys put in a lot of time, a lot of hours for this reward here. And Ball is trying to show he should start next year, or if a guy gets hurt this year.
Well, Ross, Army's trying to put together maybe a 20-play drive. Williams spins out of a couple of tackles, and they're into the red zone again as they are approaching 500 yards of offense.
Let's do another guard trap. You know why? Because I have the telestrator and you don't. Watch this. Watch Barzak. Boom! Right there on Ugwa. Nothing better than a fullback trap right there. You know what song that's, movie that's from?
No.
You know, I have the microphone and you don't. The Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer.
Should have known that.
Come on,
100% should have known that. I thought you were talking about, do I know what movie a trap block is from?
Oh, no.
Jones with another carry. Serve Pro, proud supporter of Armed Forces football. Do you dream in blocks?
I dream in football for sure. And I love watching a good trap block. I love watching Army football because, I don't know, man, I feel like the stars are kind of the offensive line. I know the quarterbacks and the running backs get the ball, but getting to see all these guys come firing off the ball, Jackson, Filipowicz. I mean, look how much they're leaning forward in their stand. Watch them fire off. Watch the block come flying, boom.
Well, they're getting to the second level, although that time,
that wasn't a good
that
example.
didn't work out so well. Hunter Webb was all over it.
You know why Hunter Webb made that play right there? Because he's from Central Pennsylvania. Watch Hunter Webb right here. Boom. Loyal sock. Williamsport. Watch him. He's going to hit it. He knows what's coming. He beats the block of Barzak, makes the play. That's how we do it in Central Pennsylvania, Jason.
It is a third down play.
Come downhill, and you hit him in the mouth.
It is a third down play on a drive that has lasted the entire fourth quarter.
Can I say something? It's 49-14, 6 minutes left. I'm having a blast. Like, I love this. I love football.
That's why you're doing this, no?
Yeah, for sure.
Williams trying to drive. Webb, the product of Central Pennsylvania, driving him back. By the way, I do feel the need every week now to tell people who don't know that you are from Central Pennsylvania.
They know. They can probably figure it out. By the way, do you know what Williamsport High School's nickname is?
Something to do with Little League?
They are the Millionaires. Ooh. Because at one point, there were more millionaires in Williamsport, Pennsylvania than anywhere else in the country. Because of the forestry trade, it had to go through the Susquehanna River through Williamsport. I thought Jeff Monken might want to get the field goal operation an opportunity.
And he is, and this is for Quinn Moretsky.
Hawaii's finest.
From 28 yards, and he's good. Army takes a more than 9-minute drive and adds a field goal to the lead.
Over the years, Mercedes-Benz has
54 yards, taking more than 11 minutes off the clock. Not that the game was in doubt, but the field goal from Quinn Moretsky. Let's take a look at today's Serve Pro first responder, and it's really the guy who started this game with Christian Anderson, and we haven't seen in a while, but a couple of rushing scores, Ross, and added yet another touchdown pass for the third straight week.
Yeah, he's been incredibly efficient as the starting quarterback for the Black Knights. Going to be very, very difficult to get him out of the lineup, even when Tyre Tyler returns from injury.
That is going to be a question that when Tyre Tyler is healthy, that they will have to figure out, because remember, they came into the season with the plan to play both Tyler and Christian Anderson. They both played well. Tyler had 2 drives for the season, led them both to scores. We'll have to figure that out when he is healthy.
Oh my
They're going again!
Oh my goodness.
Brian Bruton took the last kickoff 96 yards, and he's taken another one the distance. Now there is a flag back around the 20-yard line, but if this is against Army.
Jeff Monken's going to blow a gasket.
During the return, holding, return team number 83, 10-yard penalty, first down.
I don't know. I mean, that makes Jeff Monken feel better, but I don't know if it makes him feel that much better.
Either way, they found an explosive kick returner on the other sideline.
I am impressed with Bruton. That guy has some juice. Stick around.
At Chewy, we know walks are made better with our furry.
Work is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. By MCOR, proud partner of Army West Point Athletics. And by The Exchange. Army football is proudly sponsored by The Exchange.
Back at West Point. 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for Brian Bruton was brought back. A hold.
I believe it's right there. Oh, man. I'm actually surprised they called that. Obviously, it was unnecessary. It wasn't going to make a difference in the play. But I'm surprised they called that.
Kevin Mensah, the running back in the game. What a hit. A great ball, but a huge hit delivered by Charlo on Clarcius, who's still down.
That's a good read by Charlo there, and he hit him right in the chops. Totally legal hit. Watch. Boom. Looked like he kept his helmet out of there. He actually caused the incompletion, separated him from the ball by flying in there with his right shoulder.
So while they look at the redshirt freshman receiver from Montreal, we will step aside.
Veterans, you're eligible to shop your military exchange.
Delivered by the sophomore Jimmy Charlo. He is over on the UConn sideline. That was a great throw, by the way, by Pumachan. 52-14, his offense will be back on the field. Hey, let's take a look at today's Mercedes-Benz, which we'll get to in a moment. You said this a few times today here, Ross, about Tyler Pumachan. This is their 3rd quarterback in 4 games that they've rolled out. Started with Jack Zergiotis, played the first couple. Steven Krajewski last game against Purdue. But you think they've got something to move forward here starting next week?
I've been impressed for a true freshman on the road at Michie Stadium. Pumachan has a really nice natural feel for the position, and his movement skills are really valuable.
Austin Kevin Mensah, and he's drilled up top. His first carry of the day as we take a look at today's Mercedes-Benz player profile. And Andre Carter, who came into the day leading the country with 4.5 sacks. Junior out of Missouri City, Texas, and a guy that they are so high on with his length and athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, he's gained like 30, 40 pounds since he's been here. He was a high school wide receiver, and he's long, athletic. He's what you're looking for in a pass rusher.
Pumachan loads, fires, down the field, it's Turner! Into Army territory, got behind the defense, and he brought it in all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Beautiful design there by Moisenko, and it's the right side of your screen. Pumachan knew he was about to get hit, right down the hash to Turner. Let's make sure he catches it, secures it, 1, 2, oh yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Now it's a pickup of 50. It did start to come out as he was going to the turf. Pumachan drops it low into the turf again. It is Aaron Turner. You know, it was a shutout at the half, 42-0. And UConn, one of their 2 touchdowns is on a kickoff return that went 96 yards. But they did have in the first half, Rafa, I know we've highlighted this a lot, opportunities where they did get behind the Army defense, and you know that Jeff Monken and Nate Woody are going to focus on that heading into Miami of Ohio next week.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed by a lot of the true freshmen that UConn has out here. I think Randy Edsall's staff, led by Mike Siskowski, I mean, Turner and Marion and Pumachan and Evans on defense. I think the young guys can play.
Edsall went through the big hole and picks up another 7 yards. Kevin Mensah, the senior from Worcester, Mass, who coming into the day, 2,726 yards, which is 4th in UConn history, coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but not really seeing him here until the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're going young, they're playing freshmen, they're trying to build for the future. It's actually kind of sad on some level. 4th all-time in rushing yards in school history, and just playing kind of at the end of the game.
Pumachan using the happy feet, trying to get out of there. Here on 3rd down, takes a late hit, throw it to the end zone, and it's incomplete. And Ross, I'm surprised there was not a flag thrown for a late hit on the quarterback.
And I'm a little surprised Pumachan just didn't run. He has taken some hits. We know he's athletic, he's accurate, and he's tough. Watch this hit he takes at the end. And I think that's okay.
It was Andre Miller down low. It was Peyton Hampton, the linebacker, who got him up top.
Now I think this would be a good time to use Pumachan's legs. Quarterback draw, something like that. Let's see if Nate Woody heats him up. Lou Spanos is going to call a timeout, make sure they know what they want to do here.
He's all the way on the field.
UConn, their first timeout of the half. Full media timeout.
4th down play, maybe the last chance for UConn's offense. They're on this Saturday.
My name is Mike Iaconelli. They call me Ike.
To start 4-0 for the first time since 1996, but for the immediate in the last 258. Jeff Monken wants a defensive stop on 4th down. Lou Spanos wants his team to keep building on this 3rd and 4th quarter. And an opportunity here for his freshman quarterback, Tyler Pumachan, to convert.
I would imagine that Army's going to bring pressure here, which could be an opportunity for Pumachan to make a big play. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an all-out blitz, 0 coverage, meaning man-to-man across the board. UConn going 5 wide would give Pumachan the ability to a quarterback draw, but Army's not going to let him with those linebackers up on line of scrimmage.
They are 0 of 2 on 4th down today. Pumachan trying to get out of there. Lofts it to the end zone. Turner is tackled, and that's going to be a pass interference.
Good job. Good job there by Pumachan to give Turner a chance. It's man-to-man coverage. Throw it up. Give your guy a chance to come back for his underthrown ball, which are often deadly for pass interference penalties.
Pass interference, defense number 7. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's a big ask, by the way, for Charlo as a sophomore at 6'2", 220. As you see Pumachan rolling away from Henderson there. But a good job just putting the ball up in the air, giving this guy an opportunity.
And there's an Army player down, Ross, at the 3-yard line. That is the first penalty, by the way, today on Jeff Monken's squad.
That's almost unbelievable.
Well, and UConn has only had a couple as well, so it has been, at least from that perspective, a clean game.
Well, and what's crazy about it is 2 of the ones for UConn brought back their 2 biggest plays. The second kickoff return for a touchdown on a hold, and then the blindside block.
On what would have been a 55-yarder. Did not quite see the number down there for Army.
You know, the one thing that we should point out, Jason, is an injury for one of the Black Knights is not like an injury for guys at other schools. You know, if you're a Black Knight, you don't redshirt. As you see DeAndre Tobias getting up, you don't redshirt, and not only do you not redshirt, okay, you have to be able to pass all of the physical standards to graduate. So there are a lot of times where these Black Knights have to stay for an extra semester because of the injuries they suffered as football players did not allow them to pass the physical testing parameters that they had to.
And that's across the board at all sports here at West Point. So Tobias, who played in 5 games last year, getting his first action of the season, is walking off. So 2:51 to go. The penalty does set up UConn with a 1st and goal here on this drive. That is their first 4th quarter offensive drive. It's all been in the special teams, and they played defense for a while. Pumachan all kinds of time to the corner, and it's short. Looking for Marion, was defense nicely there by Army. Damon Washington getting some playing time.
I still don't understand why UConn doesn't throw the ball to Keelan Marion more. He still seems like a guy that is a stud for me. Washington is a plebe. Washington's one of only 4 or 5 freshmen only dressed out for the game. They only have about 5 freshmen dressed out for the game.
They bring the house. Pumachan read it, dumped it short. The tackle is made there by Army. I'll bring up 3rd down inside the 5-yard line.
Excellent blitz pickup there by Mensa to Brandon Niemiecki, another Eastern PA guy, Crestwood High School. And he's a freshman getting some playing time. Lou Spanos and the coaching staff going with a lot of freshmen. Still feels like on one of these 2 downs, Tyler Pumachan's legs are going to be a factor.
That is their 1 offensive touchdown today. Was a 38-yard run. Niemiecki in motion here on 3rd and goal. Pumachan using his legs, trying to get to the outside, and Brennan got there first. Finished off by Lowen, but Brennan was the first one to stop him there. And so now 4th and goal.
Terrific job by Henderson making him bow to get wider, and then Tyler Brennan did the nice job as well from North Hills, Pittsburgh. Pumachan is going to be sore tomorrow.
It's his first career collegiate action. This is 4th down.
The entire Corps of Cadets still here. I love it. They're getting loud.
No question. And they're going right into that part of the stadium as well. Pumachan trying to take off with his legs. Hesitates. Heads to the goal line, and he's in. So for the 2nd time in the 2nd half, the freshman on the ground, and UConn is in the end zone.
Well, I think it's fair to say, as you look at the soup, I think it's fair to say that Lou Spanos made the right decision putting Pumachan in a quarterback. Quarterback draw. Army does a good job inside, but just able to bounce outside. He gets enough of a block from Mensa, the senior, to get in there for another UConn touchdown.
The extra point is good.
Getting a hug there from the O-line coach, Frank Joffrey. They're excited about this young man. Quarterback draw, gutsy call because there's no pass option, and just able to get enough of the linebacker. Watch Mensa, 34, finds the linebacker right there, just enough. You know, blocking a lot of times is really just running interference, like he did right there, just enough to get Pumachan in the end zone.
Well, and to your point about making the right decision for Lou Spanos, we talked to him on Wednesday, and then the rest of the staff we talked to yesterday, and at no point during any of those conversations would they tell us who the starting quarterback was leading into today. In fact, Lou Spanos said, hey, watch warm-ups, you'll get a feel, you'll understand. Right, talking to Coach Joffrey, the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator yesterday, said all 4 quarterbacks got reps this week in practice. But this is the guy that they thought clearly gave them, with his legs, the best opportunity moving forward. And Tyler Pumachan, in his first career snaps, has played pretty well.
If I'm a UConn fan, I'm excited to see Pumachan and all these freshmen play and grow for the rest of the season and give me some hope moving forward. You know, they look like they have a chance to put some points on the board. By the way, can I just say this? I love saying Pumachan.
Well, it's fun. Yeah.
Why is it so fun to say Pumachan?
Well, because the
Tyler Pumachan.
Because the aggressive nature on the animal part of the first half.
Yeah.
By the way, you throw Pumachan with DJ Uiagalelei, the 2 quarterbacks at Clemson that are 1 and 2, his brother Tyson, and I think you got the long names covered. And Army will take its final drive here, starting on the 25-yard line for Army. Going to move to 3-0 on the season. Next week, we will have them here against Miami of Ohio, the squad from the Mid-American Conference today, taking on LIU from the FCS. And then they'll stay with the MAC. They'll go to Ball State. The Cardinals last year, the Mid-American champs, in the game that everyone here is looking forward to on the road at Wisconsin on October 16th.
Well, those 3 games in a row, at Ball State, Wisconsin, Wake Forest, 4 games, Air Force, those will all be tough. But Miami, Ohio gave the Minnesota Golden Gophers all they could handle last week.
And they held Minnesota last week, across to 287 yards.
Well, Chuck Martin's defense is always good.
And that is at quarterback, by the way, for Army, Jabari Laws.
Love it.
And if you saw the Georgia State game 2 weeks ago, you saw the last 3.5 minutes for the senior who 2 years ago tore up his knee against VMI right here on this field. And then in camp leading into last year, another season-ending injury. And they were so excited that he was able to get back on the field against Georgia State. He was overcome with emotion. And here in the final 2 plays, taking the final 2 snaps for the Black Knights, in what is about to be a 52-21 victory for Army in a 2nd straight game where they did not punt the football. A wire-to-wire win to move to 3-0 for Jeff Monken here in the 2021 season.
That is unbelievable to have back-to-back games where you don't punt.
12 straight at home for Army. Came into the day tied for 7th for the longest home winning streak in the country. Next week, the opportunity to push that up to 13.
I love the Army fight song, too. One of the best in all of college football.
They'll make their way over to the core and finish the win with the singing of the alma mater. A bunch of the UConn players are heading over there as well, which we did not see last week.
No.
With the Western Kentucky finish that was a bit chippy there.
That ended a little differently.
A little bit differently. And again, this is part of the aspect of things that just makes a game here
different.
So different.
And so awesome. I tell everybody I talk to, you got to get to Michie Stadium for an Army home game.
So now it's time for the playing of the Army alma mater. And Russ, to your point, 52-21, and one of the other cool things that happened, you go around the country, you had a 42-0 halftime lead. Most of the student section around the country at a lot of places would be going. That's not the case here.
Nope. They stay from the start to the end, and it's a release for them, and they love it. And I am so glad. I love watching them stand the whole game, energetic the whole game. I think you know, Jason, we've talked about it, how I feel about the decision that they all make. You know, at 17, 18 years old, to give 9 years of their life to all of us. Those are tremendous young men and women.
So we'll hear from Jeff Monken in a moment as Tina is tracking him down. But to finish up on Tyler Pumachan, right? First career start, 11 of 26 passing, over 100 yards, but on the ground, gained 60, and so many yards that were lost on penalties or mistakes. But they got something to build on as they go to play Wyoming next week.
Well, I've got a couple more UConn games this year, and I'm excited to watch Tyler Pumachan grow this year and play more and more. He's only going to get better from here.
That right there, by the way, that is Trey Sophia, the 6'6" freshman from Austin, Texas, who was the finisher of the week, coming off the practice squad, dressed out for this game. First career action. Andre Miller got some action on the defensive line as well.
And you can see all the plebes are so excited because they got to go out there and contribute. Look at them signing autographs. Mike Vitti, the fullback, Army legend, signing an autograph right there.
300, speaking of fullbacks, 397 yards rushing today for Army. They topped 500 yards of offense. And again, 52-21 the final. It was 42-0 at the half, and we did not see almost any of the starters in the second half.
No, we didn't. As you see the final stats, 40 minutes time of possession. And I'm telling you right now, Brent Davis will be mad that they didn't get 400 yards rushing. 397, so close.
You think that's what he'll lead off with when we talk to him on Friday?
No, I don't think so. But I think he will say he wishes that they had gotten the 400 number.
He will be excited, though, about this, Ross. They came into today as the leaders in passing efficiency in the country. Now, they were 8 of 10. Today, 3 of 3 passing for 107 yards and another touchdown.
And you felt like they could have probably thrown it more for more success if they wanted to or needed to. Yep.
Another touchdown pass for Christian Anderson. 52-21 the final for head coach Jeff Monken, who's with Tina.
Well, Jeff Monken, congratulations. 3-0 to start the season. Just domination in the first half. And